Olivia stood in front of the mirror, her reflection shining back at her, as beautiful and poised as ever. At 29, she had grown into a woman of grace, her almond-shaped eyes gleaming with intelligence, her slender figure draped in simple elegance. She was admired for her beauty but often criticized for her choices. In her small town, nestled amidst rolling hills and emerald valleys, beauty was expected to serve a single purpose: to catch a husband. But Olivia was different. She didn't chase after marriage as others in her village did. Her mother, of course, had always nagged her about it. "Olivia, you're not getting any younger," she would often say with a sigh. "Look at your cousin Maria. She already has 2 children, and here you are, still chasing dreams." Dreams. That was exactly it. Olivia had always been a dreamer. She believed in love, but not the kind that came from necessity or convenience. Her heart yearned for something deeper, something more meaningful. She had grown up reading stories of true love, of heroines who didn't settle for less, and that shaped her vision of marriage. Olivia wanted a partner, someone who would see her as an equal, as a companion in life's journey. Yet, this idealism was her undoing in the eyes of many. The gossip started softly at first, whispers behind her back at the market or after church on Sundays. "She's too proud," some said, their voices tinged with envy. "She thinks she's better than everyone, waiting for some prince to come and sweep her off her feet. Her standards are too high," others remarked, shaking their heads. "No man will ever be good enough for her." In time, the whispers grew louder, and even her closest friends distanced themselves. Women her age were already married, with children on their hips, while Olivia remained single. Invitations to parties and social gatherings dwindled as she became a figure of curiosity, the unmarried beauty who had let her best years pass her by. The ridicule stung, and though she never showed it, the isolation weighed heavily on her heart. One afternoon, during a family gathering, Olivia's cousin Maria, who had always been the family favorite, made a cutting remark. "Olivia, it must be nice having all this freedom," she said with a sweet smile, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "But aren't you worried? Men don't want women who are too independent. You should have found someone by now." The laughter that followed was unbearable. Olivia felt a lump rise in her throat but refused to let anyone see her cry. She excused herself and fled to the garden, her sanctuary since childhood. She sat beneath the old oak tree, her favorite place to think, and let the tears she'd held back for so long flow freely. Why was it so hard to find someone who valued her for who she was? Why did love seem like an impossible dream when it came so easily for others? As she wiped her tears away, she felt a soft breeze caress her face. Olivia closed her eyes, reminding herself that she had chosen this path. She refused to settle. If that meant living alone, she would bear it with dignity. But deep inside, she still held on to the hope that one day, someone would come along who would see her worth, someone who wouldn't be threatened by her independence but would celebrate it. Little did she know, fate had already set plans in motion. Several weeks later, Olivia attended a charity event in the nearby city. It was one of the few occasions where she could mingle without the pressure of her village's judgmental eyes. The event was a gala to raise funds for a children's hospital, and though Olivia was not particularly interested in the social aspect of it, she had a passion for helping others. As she moved through the crowd, she caught the eye of a man she had never seen before. He was tall, with striking features and a warmth in his eyes that drew her in. His dark hair was speckled with hints of silver, giving him an air of maturity. He approached her with a gentle confidence, introducing himself as Ethan Langston, a businessman who had recently moved to the area. Unlike the men from her village, there was no arrogance in his demeanor, no air of entitlement. The two talked for what felt like hours, finding common ground in their love for books, travel, and helping others. Ethan had spent much of his life abroad, working in humanitarian efforts, and had recently returned home to settle down. His presence was calming, and for the first time in years, Olivia felt understood. As the evening drew to a close, Ethan asked if they could meet again. Olivia, feeling something unfamiliar but warm blossoming within her, agreed. Their meetings became frequent. They shared quiet dinners, long walks, and deep conversations that revealed the layers of their souls. Ethan was unlike anyone Olivia had ever known. He didn't question her independence. He admired it. He didn't mock her dreams. He encouraged them. And most importantly, he didn't see her as an ornament to be possessed, but as a partner to be cherished. Months passed, and their connection deepened. But Olivia, cautious and still scarred by years of mockery, hesitated to believe it was real. She feared that Ethan, like others before him, might eventually find fault in her refusal to conform to traditional expectations. One evening, as they sat by the riverbank, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Ethan turned to her and took her hand. "Olivia," he began softly, his voice steady, "I've traveled the world and met many people, but I've never met anyone like you. You are strong, intelligent, and kind. You've shown me what it means to love deeply, and I can't imagine my life without you in it." Olivia's heart raced as she listened, her fears melting away with each word. "I know you've faced pressure, people telling you what you should be and what you should do," Ethan continued. "But I want you to know that I love you for exactly who you are. I don't want to change you, and I don't want you to settle for anything less than what you deserve." Tears welled in Olivia's eyes as she realized that this was what she had been waiting for. A man who saw her, truly saw her, and loved her not despite her independence, but because of it. Ethan pulled a small velvet box from his pocket and opened it, revealing a simple, elegant ring. "Will you marry me, Olivia? Not because it's expected, but because we choose each other?" Overwhelmed with emotion, Olivia nodded, a smile breaking through her tears. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I will." News of Olivia's engagement spread quickly through the village. The same people who had once mocked her were now astounded by her story. Ethan was everything they had never expected, a man of substance who adored her for all the reasons they had once criticized. At their wedding, Olivia walked down the aisle with her head held high, her heart full of joy. She had found the love she had always dreamed of, not by chasing after it, but by staying true to herself. And as she exchanged vows with Ethan, she knew that this was only the beginning of a beautiful journey. One built on mutual respect, admiration, and the kind of love that lasts a lifetime. In the end, Olivia's story was not just about finding love but about finding herself, and in doing so, attracting the love that had always been meant for her.